Hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Welcome to Today at the Euros. I'm Danny Harrington from the Football Fan Show. How are you doing? And I am here sweating like a pig. So, sorry, I'm catching up on work. How you doing? How have you enjoyed the Euros so far? Sorry, I'm in a blue shirt. I am not live from Wembley. The green screen effect doesn't work on this blue. I've got to remember that in future. Really, really messes me over when I'm trying to watch 1860 Munich. England. They played today. Sorry we didn't do a show last night. We didn't really want to talk about Christian Eriksen for obvious reasons. Well, we didn't want. We will talk about Christian Eriksen. We didn't want to talk about the Denmark game purely because we needed to know the information regarding that game, which we now know it's positive. So it's good. It's good stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed the Euros so far. And because we didn't do a show yesterday, we have to catch up on everything, starting with Friday night, where Turkey played Italy in the opening game of the entire tournament, and it was not the greatest game. I've got to be honest; it wasn't the greatest game ever from a Turkish perspective. So let's get started, shall we? Let's get straight into it before we talk about some of the games coming up this week and tell you about what's coming up this week from us here. And we'll start with Group A in the Euros, where Italy have won 3-0 in the opening game of the tournament. They won 3-0 in the opening game of the tournament. And need to look at here. They won 3-0 at the opening game of the tournament against Turkey at the Stadio Olimpico. So it was a home game for Italy. They won 3-0. Fantastic performance from them. And Italy winning by 3-0. If you've seen the memes of Andrea Bocelli putting in a better performance in Europe than Tottenham Hotspur, then ha ha ha. Once again, not a Tottenham fan. Goals from Demirial. Own goal, by the way, from him on the 53rd minute. Immobile on the 66th minute. That sounds like I'm making it up. And Insigne on the 79th minute from an Immobile assist. Italy, they opened spectacularly with the opening game, an impressive start. Obviously, they're in the same group as Wales and Switzerland. And with the Italian opera at the start, shades of Italia 90 right from the get-go. I loved it. I loved it. I'm going to move back slightly so you can get a better view of Wembley. And a better view of my background. They dominated the game, but they couldn't find the net in the first half. And to be honest, everybody was saying, Turkey are the dark horses. Turkey are my dark horses. And to be fair, Italy made anyone that said Turkey were the dark horses or their dark horses, they made them look like fools. They made them look like absolute fools, and that's the deal. They made them look like fools. But what I will say about Italy is that I have never seen an Italian team press. Like, it's just not within their nature. I don't know what's going on with Italy at this tournament, but they never seem to press. Their Italian football is very much stuck in the past in terms of how it's played. It's very defensive, and the Italian national team have always been very defensive, and that's how they've always played. But this tournament, Roberto Mancini, obviously the manager of the Italian national team, or the head coach, seems to implement a different style of play, wanting his players to push more, press more. It's much more attacking, far more entertaining, and the Italian fan seems to have taken to it, considering that they didn't even qualify for the 2018 World Cup alongside such countries as the Netherlands, held in high esteem there. But they seem to be pressing more. It's much more entertaining football than I'm used to seeing from the Italian team, so it's good. It's good, and they got a 3-0 win against Turkey, whereas Italian sides in the past probably would have got a goal and went, okay, we already don't need to do anything anymore. Kind of like England, except Italy actually had good players and were able to pull off a 1-0 win against a team that they probably should have won 5-0. Whereas England would go 1-0 up, score, go 1-0 up, play defensively, and then concede, which is typical. But that's what happens when you have the players versus when you don't. And Italy have always had very good defensive players. But it was interesting to see them press. They pressed the ball. They pressed Turkey very well, and brilliant, fantastic. Didn't expect to see that, but Roberto Mancini getting them to play a very different style, and hopefully the Italian fans take to it because they look good. I mean, they're not going to win it. I mean, this is an Italian team that's still in development very much. Similar parallels to England, except I think we've got one or two more slightly experienced players, although Italy do have Chiellini still in the squad. And it is a sad tournament when Buffon is not in the Italian squad. Sad tournament. I wept a tear for Gigi Buffon for not being in the Italian team, of course. He's old. Then again, so is the Dutch keeper. So Italy got the 3-0 win in the opening game of the Euros on Friday night with a really good performance. Saturday's games, and now we will talk about the controversial stuff, and we are going to talk about I'll get to the Denmark-Finland game in a bit. Wales versus Switzerland. Now, I don't know much about Swiss football. I know that their flag is a plus. What else can you say to that other than it's a terrible joke? Wales fought back to draw with Switzerland in their opening Euro 2020 match as Kiefer Moore marked his return to the Welsh team and to the starting lineup with what proved to be a vital equaliser. In only his third start in 9 matches under the interim boss, Robert Page, of course, Ryan Giggs is the manager, and I'm not really going to tell you and explain why he's not at the Euros, because he's alleged to be a he's alleged to be a shithouse, essentially. That's all I'm going to say. Allegedly. Those are allegations. But interim boss Robert Page leading the Welsh team this campaign. The Cardiff City striker was close to giving Wales an early lead when his header was superbly tipped over the crossbar by Swiss keeper Jan Sommer, or tipped over by Jan Sommer. The Swiss took control of the game from that point on, and after spending squandering several chances, they eventually scored an impressive Brett Embolo headed goal from a Xherdan Shaqiri corner, and Wales were slow to improve from there in their sluggish start, but within 15 minutes, Joe Morales delicately chipped across, found Kiefer Moore's head. It's very Kiefer Moore who flicked header into the bottom corner and sent Wales going nuts. Now, there is one bit of controversy, and that was the second goal for Switzerland, because it was... So, Wales had gone to all that effort, they'd equalised, and then suddenly the Swiss got that second goal and were about to go 2-1 up before VAR checked for offside. And yes, as much as Robbie Savage can call it offside immediately, let's wait for the VAR. It was offside, he was right, but of course national biases kick in at some point, don't they? So yes, Wales getting a point, and to be fair, with the current format of the Euros, the 4 best third place teams go through. Northern Ireland only needed 1 win in the last European Championships to go through. This could be enough. If Wales pick up a point, maybe against... If Wales beat Turkey, that could be enough. That could be enough for Wales to sneak on through. And we'll have to wait and see. Italy, obviously, topping Group A on 3 points. Then Wales and Switzerland, second and third, respectively, on a point. And Turkey, bottom of the table, -3 on goal difference and 0 points. It's fantastic to see some of the Welsh fans out there, even if, they may have broken the COVID protocols to be there. But fantastic from Wales. Now, we have to talk about the Denmark and Finland game. And I'll bring you the latest news on Christian Eriksen right now, because so there's good news regarding Christian Eriksen this evening, and you may have saw last night some pictures that came from the ground about the way he was, that he was seemingly conscious and looking at a photographer, and what we've subsequently learnt, I will tell you about in a minute. But let's talk about the match. And of course, the first half was 0-0 for large periods of the game. Finland have won their first game at a major European tournament, but it was obviously overshadowed by Christian Eriksen collapsing. Or after 41 minutes, he received CPR on the pitch, and as his visibly distressed teammates surrounded him. And I just want to praise the Danish players for surrounding him, giving him that privacy, allowing the doctors and the medical team to do their work. It was fantastic. I know there were a lot of people that were angry that the cameras kept rolling. What I will say is that the BBC did cut the footage eventually, and obviously the pictures that you saw didn't come from the BBC. They came from the host broadcaster, UEFA, as UEFA have control of the production on this. So it was a UEFA editorial choice. But also, I will say that certain countries, who I won't mention, showed replays. The BBC did not do that, as I think they could quite clearly see that would be in poor taste. But some countries apparently did show replays of the incident, which is completely, to me, unacceptable. So Eriksen collapsed after 41 minutes, received CPR, but after approximately 15 minutes of treatment, the Inter Milan star was carried off on a stretcher. He was taken to a local hospital, which, from the explanation by the BBC commentary team, so it's called, the stadium is the Parkden, something like that, Parkden Stadium, and across, because it's built right next to a park, and across that park is the hospital he went to, so it wasn't actually too far away. Apparently, the what's being reported is that the Danish players did speak to Eriksen before resuming the match. They were only when they only agreed to play the match when they were informed that he was awake, he was conscious, he was fine, and that's when they chose to resume the game. So UEFA in that scenario gave them two options: either you can resume the match at 8:30, which was Danish time, 7:30 in the UK, or play it tomorrow at 12:30. And the Danish players the Danish and Finnish players both agreed to play the rest of the game. That was their choice. Some people have said UEFA shouldn't have replayed the match. Personally, I'm kind of with them in the sense that I don't think they should have played. But that's what happened. They did replay the game, so it's about 2.5 hours after kickoff. Denmark keeper at about 7:05 p.m. British summer time. The Danish keeper Kasper Schmeichel returned to the pitch. Obviously, one more thing: the Finnish fans and Danish fans at the I don't know the name of the stadium, Parkenden Stadium, whatever, were fantastic. With the Finnish fans shouting Christian, the Danish fans shouting Eriksen. It was fantastic, just fantastic. And so the match resumed at 7:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 in Central European time, with the final 4 minutes of the first half played, then a 5-minute break, then the second half. So they played the final 4 minutes of the first half, 5-minute break, then the full conclusion of the second half, and probably Denmark. Let's move on from the Christian Eriksen stuff, because Denmark, we will get back to it towards the end of the program. Denmark had been the better team up until that point. They'd, Christian Eriksen is their talisman, and was probably looking good to score. Denmark were definitely looking good to score, but the Finnish keeper just had a fantastic. He saved a 20-yard effort from Jonas Wins and tipping a header from Tottenham midfielder Pierre-Emile Højbjerg over the bar. It's, the Finnish keeper had a great game. The match, the third of the delayed Euros, had been a raucous and passionate affair in front of the 15,000 Parken Stadion. That's what it's called in the Danish capital. But unsurprisingly, they were far more focused on the Christian Eriksen incident and moments, of course. And you know what? Credit to the players for resuming the match. Whether you agree or disagree that it should have been played isn't the point anymore. It's not the story to talk about. The story to talk about is Christian Eriksen, and he's fine. And I will tell you more on that a little bit later on. Denmark did have chances to equalise after the visitors, who had never qualified for a World Cup and were playing in their first ever European Championship finals game, took the lead when Schmeichel was unable to keep out Joel. I'm not going to pronounce his second name. Header. Pijan Paulo's. There you go. That's my only pronunciation of his name. Header following Urinen's cross, and it looked like a bit of a fumble from Kasper Schmeichel, and bringing back memories of the final day of the season against Tottenham for Leicester, when he made a bit of a fumble. And the last live stream that we did which was our final, post-season awards. We were talking about Denmark and Finland, and how Finland didn't stand a chance, that they were going to be the whipping boys. And people will say, you only had one shot at goal and you scored it, and you only had 30% possession. You didn't have any corners. It was an all Danish affair, and obviously with the moment that happened with Christian Eriksen, people. I'm not saying Danish fans will, but I'm gonna say that football people, so-called experts, will take that away from Finland. They will take that away from Finland, because I've already seen it online saying, Finland didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve to win. Well, you know what? They kind of did. They did deserve to win it, and they did win it. And you know what? Don't take it away from them. They won their first game at a major tournament. Fantastic for them. Fantastic for Finland. Obviously marred by the sickening, worrying events that transpired earlier, but Denmark should have said no. But, that's beside the point. Well done to Finland for getting their first win at a major tournament. And, fantastic for them. And so they get the 3 points in that one. And then obviously the following game, which was the Belgium-Russia game, which was played at the exact same time as the Denmark-Finland game, with Romelu Lukaku being one of the goal scorers for Belgium. I don't know if you ever saw the celebration, but he said, "Chris, I love you," down the camera, which was a nice touch. But Romelu Lukaku paid tribute to Inter Milan teammate Christian Eriksen after scoring against Russia to help the world number one side Belgium start Euro 2020 with a win. Denmark's midfielder, obviously, we've talked about Christian Eriksen. There was so he paid tribute to him, and there was doubt whether Belgium's game against Russia would actually go ahead as Denmark's group rivals as well. It was going to take place in St. Petersburg. With the choice that UEFA gave to Denmark of either playing it at 8:30 European Central Time, or playing it at 12:30 at the following day, it was unlikely that UEFA were going to budge and, move this match, because that's UEFA. And even though the European Super League turned UEFA into heroes for a moment, let's not forget they are the villains in this story. They are the villains. And maybe the game, maybe UEFA shouldn't have gone to Denmark and say, well, you can either play it later today or you can play it tomorrow. Maybe they should have said, let's wait at least 24 hours before we make a decision. Let's axe the game there, and wait 24 hours before we decide what we're going to do next. Okay? But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. The Russia and Belgium game, there was some doubt with Lukaku actually saying, I've got a direct quote of what he said, Chris, I love you, onto the television cameras when he scored. After the game, the former Manchester United forward said he cried when he had heard the news of what happened to Eriksen. He told ITV, I spent more time with him than with my own family. It was difficult to play the game, and I hope he is healthy, and I dedicate this performance to him. And what a performance it was from Romelu Lukaku. After Lukaku's opener, Roberto Martinez's side added a second before half-time after substitute Thomas Muner, an early replacement for the injured Leicester defender Timothy Castagne, slotted home Anton Schunen's when Anton Schunen failed to hold a cross, and informed Lukaku sealed it with a comfortable win by scoring his third goal with a composed finish in the closing stages of the match. Obviously, Denmark lost to Finland, so Belgium and Finland top Group B on 3 points each. Denmark and Russia at the bottom of the group. Okay, 0 points for those teams, and we'll get to the fixtures in a bit. And then today's games. So we start with Austria. And no. Let's start with Group C. Yeah, Austria and North Macedonia, which was the 4:30, 5 o'clock-ish kickoff. I don't know the specific time, but by the way, if you would like, you can vote in our game of the day on our Twitter page. Let me just take a pause from giving you the analysis of the games and what the journos who are better paid than me have written about the game. You can take part in a poll on our Twitter account, which is at TFFS Live. It's quite obvious what the game of the day is to me, but you can vote in the game of the day. You can either vote for England 1, Croatia 0, you can vote for Austria 3, North Macedonia 1, or you can vote for the Netherlands 3, Ukraine 2. By the way, spoiler alert, it's the Netherlands and Ukraine. And they have 92.6% of the vote because it was the best game. It was fantastic. The way that, Ukraine were 2-0 down and they came back 2-2. That shows character, that shows bottle, but we'll get into it. And you've got until 11 you've got about half an hour. Have you got about half an hour or about 15 minutes? You got about 22 minutes to vote in that. And we'll reveal the results at the end of the program. Let's have a look at England and Croatia then. Let's start with that one. Let's start with the earlier kickoff from Group D. It's England 1, Croatia 0 with 3 lions on a shirt. Is football coming home? Luka Modric hates that. Luka Modric hates the arrogance of it. So every time he got the ball, he got booed, which I thought was magical. And then they started playing that song after the game. I think the fans actually did start chanting "Football's coming home" when Modric got the ball once. And I think instead of booing him, they should have just sang "Football's coming home" to Luka Modric. But England have started their Euro 2020 campaign off with a winning start as Raheem Sterling, who didn't have the greatest season for Manchester City. I think I speak for many English people when I thought, Jack Grealish not in the squad. What you doing, Gareth? And I, like many other English people, don't know jack shit about football. Raheem Sterling's goal secured victory over Croatia at Wembley. Sterling repaid the England manager's Gareth Southgate's faith in him, sliding in the winner after 57 minutes following a perfect pass from man of the match Calvin Phillips. And Southgate resisted the temptation of playing Jack Grealish from Aston Villa and was rewarded with a lively performance. Even though at 0-0, when Jack Grealish was coming off the bench, the England fans started to cheer his name. You could tell that the England fans wanted Jack Grealish. And to think he could have played for the Republic of Ireland. Three Lions almost took the lead early on when Phil Foden struck the post. Oh, it was a beauty of a shot. He struck the post, but there was the first signs of frustrations from fans and players just as Sterling made a decisive contribution with his first goal in a major tournament. I can't believe it's taken him this long. He's that damn good. And I was thinking to myself whilst watching the game, obviously Jack Grealish is probably our best player, but I think if you put Sterling in his prime, now I'll let you decide this, not me, because my mind said if Sterling's in his prime, he is our best player. Raheem Sterling is our best player if he's in his prime. But you might want to put him joint best player, or you might disagree entirely. I don't think you can, but there you go. But I think, Raheem is probably our best player when he's on form. And he hasn't been for Man City, but he's cared today. He's put in a good performance, so very good. He's found himself in some dangerous positions as well. And he's going to get... The only thing I will say about Raheem Sterling is that I hope he's okay after this tournament, because he's going to get the absolute crap kicked out of him. They're just going to kick him. As we saw against Croatia today, they kind of tried to take him out by kicking him. And I just get the feeling that everyone's going to try and kick Raheem Sterling, which is not nice to see. Goalkeeper Jordan Pickford was barely tested by a disappointing Croatian side who never looked like repeating their victory over England at the 2018 World Cup. It should be noted that this is a Croatia team that's very much in transition into the next generation. I mean, 2018 was their peak. That was it for Croatia. And now they're building for the future, and they've brought in a manager that is building the next generation of Croatian talent. So that's kind of their deal at the moment. They're a side in transition. Anyway, back to the game. This disappointing Croatian performance, leaving England with 3 points to take into Friday's Group D game against the old enemy, north of the wall. That's where they keep all the reprobates. Scotland, who are in action against Czech Republic tomorrow. Sean94 says it's coming home. I'm not going to say it's coming home just yet, but I have listened to it, and I don't know. I'm going to say I prefer World in Motion by England New Order, because you've got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the back. Now catch me if you can, because I'm the England man. I've got to stop there. I do know all the words, though. England with a 1-0 win. Raheem Sterling. Is he our best player when he's on form? I think so. I think he's better than everybody else when he's on form. I think Harry Kane's a fantastic striker, don't get me wrong, but I think Raheem Sterling is fabulous when he's on form. And his first goal at a major tournament, fantastic. I agree, World in Motion is better. It is, but it's coming home. Is it coming home, though? I don't think it is. Not yet. It's too early. Don't be arrogant. Like Luka Modric was saying, don't be arrogant, you arrogant English supporter. Well, he didn't exactly say that, but he was hinting at it. You arrogant English supporters. Might celebrate with a bucket of Vindaloo, by the way. Better be a bucket of Vindaloo if you are celebrating. Me, me mum, and what is it? Is it me dad and me gran and a bucket of Vindaloo? Is that the lyrics? Yeah. Bucket. Dun, dun, na, 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 Vindaloo. Right, let's move on from England. Talk about Austria against North Macedonia. Substitutes Marko Arnautovic and Michael Greg. Oh God, I'm shit with names. Gregorich. I'm gonna say that. That's my effort. And Austria their first win, their first ever victory at a major European championship, a European championship. With this is the only one. As Franco Foda's side edged past tournament debutants North Macedonia, Austria have always been historically underachievers as well. Me, mum, me dad, and me gran. That's the lyric from Vindaloo. Did you know, by the way, if you watch the video, can you tell me how many cameos are in that? Because there is quite a lot of famous people in it, and it's the thing is there's a lot of famous people that are famous now that weren't famous then. Matt Lucas and David Williams, for instance, in the video for Vindaloo, definitely weren't famous. This was prior to Little Britain, but they're in the video for it. And obviously Keith Allen is the main guy. I once got told a joke by somebody at the BBC who played Vindaloo by Fat Les and then played quite an inappropriate track after. Well, not an inappropriate track, but a track with a suggestive name. And it was like, oh, you've played Fat Les and now you're playing this. So, anyway, back to Austria. So this was the Group C opener. And Austria have always been historic underachievers when it comes to major tournaments, even though they've had, in the past, some very good players. And and now they have some very good players. You know, Austria could very much be. Remember when Belgium were crap, like when Belgium qualified for nothing and they were just crap. Austria could do that. They could be, and look at Belgium now. Austria could very much do that. They have a really strong domestic league in the Austrian Bundesliga that develops a lot of great players. A lot of their actual national team players do actually play in the German Bundesliga, I don't want to say the proper Bundesliga, but the Bundesliga. But the Austrian Bundesliga is a fantastic development league as well. Veteran North Macedonian striker, I don't want to piss off the Greeks, Goran Pandev. Oh my God. Goran Pandev. Can we just take a moment to talk about him? Because he has earned, he looked to have earned a memorable point for Euro 2020's lowest ranked team. His 120th appearance, 20 years on from his international debut. He made his international debut in 2001. Back when David Beckham was banging in goals for World Cup qualifiers against Greece at Old Trafford? Correct me there. I think it was Greece, that free kick, and we were beating Germany 5-1 in Munich. Beautiful times. The 37-year-old Genoa forward, part of Jose Mourinho's treble-winning Inter Milan side of 2009-2010, pounced on a defensive mix-up and slotted into an open goal after 28 minutes to cancel out Stefan Lehner's strike. Borussia Mönchengladbach right back Lehner had produced a fine finish to give an uninspiring Austria the lead 10 minutes earlier, leaping to volley Marcel Sabitzer's excellent pass. And then Lehner held up a shirt reading Ericsson stay strong, which we've seen throughout this tournament, different gestures. There was I don't know if you've seen this, but the picture of the German national team in training where they were literally just standing in front of a picture of a massive screen with Christian Eriksen's face on it, which is a nice gesture. With the Netherlands and Ukraine still to play at that point, both sides were played with greater urgency in a fiery second half, and Austrian manager Franco Foda called on ex-West Ham forward Arnautovic and Gregoric to bolster the attack. Goodness, these Eastern European names are going to kill me. Dmitrievetsky was at full stretch to keep out Gregoric. Glanced header, Gregoric glanced header before Augsburg's player the breakthrough, and Arnautovic, Austria's top goal scorer in qualifying, grabbed his first international goal in 2 years. And the North Macedonian supporters, don't call them Macedonia supporters because that would piss off the Greeks. North Macedonian supporters created a festival atmosphere despite the rain at Romania's national stadium in Bucharest, but despite a promising showing, it was not to be for their first match at a major tournament in their 27-year history. But it is nice to see them. We've had a few first-time qualifiers. You know what? People have criticised the 24 teams in the 24-team format in the Euros. I like it because you get to see teams like Finland. You get to see teams like North Macedonia. And North Macedonia only qualified because they did so well in the UEFA Nations League. So quite frankly, I've criticised the UEFA Nations League as a pointless competition in the past, but quite frankly, I'm going to shut my mouth now because it's going to give smaller nations. I want to see Gibraltar. I've got a Gibraltar shirt in my drawer. I want to see Gibraltar in a future European Championship because they've done well in the Nations League. And let's face it, Republic of Ireland are pretty shit now, so the only way they're going to qualify for the Euros is through the Nations League playoffs. Sean says these horrible people having these horrible names and try to pronounce. How dare their parents name them? You know, I mean, they're, you know, I'm just crap with names. I'm just bad with names. I freely admit that. And obviously, if you want to go vote our game of the day, you've got 13 minutes left on our Twitter account at TFFS Live. You can either vote for England, Croatia, Austria, and North Macedonia, or you can vote for Netherlands and Ukraine. That's on our Twitter account. You've got 13 minutes left, 28 votes, and of course, you know which one's winning because it's obvious. The answer is obvious. 92.9% of people have voted with rational sense and said that the Netherlands-Ukraine game is the game of the day. Of course it was. It was fucking fantastic. Let's talk about it. Before we talk about Christian Eriksen for the last 15 minutes, and then By the way, I completely forgot to mention. You can call in. You can call in and let us know how your Euros is going. You can either call in on the phone number, which is 0333 303 4145, or you can call us on Skype. It's Dead Air Media. Give us a call on Skype. Don't know why I called it that. And we're back tomorrow from lunchtime, 12 o'clock. We are streaming twice a day throughout the Euros. We're streaming at lunchtime for an hour, and then we're streaming at 10 o'clock. So we're building up to the games before they're played, and then we're looking at them afterwards. Netherlands, Ukraine. What an amazing game of football. I've just sat there and watched it, and I was playing Football Manager at the time. I had to put the Football Manager away because I had to watch this game. It was bloody amazing. Ukrainian legend Andrei Shevchenko is the manager of Ukraine. That would be like... It wouldn't be like Gaza, because Gaza's mental. In a good way. Like, Gaza's crazy. He would never make a football manager. I think he tried at Kettering Town once, but no. Who would be a more sensible striker? Be like Alan Shearer, maybe? Or no? I don't know. Who's the English comparison with Andrei Shevchenko? Sean says, I like it how it is. If people are moaning about they need to shush, it's football. Be grateful it's on. We've waited long enough for it. I concur. I've not got any complaints. I love the football. I love the Euros. I love the World Cup. I will watch any sport that's on TV. I will watch any festival of sport. So the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, the Euros, the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup. I'll watch it all. I'll watch it all because I need tournament sport. I just love it. Can't wait for the Olympics. If it still goes ahead, that is. Let's talk about the Dutch game against Ukraine then. With the Netherlands being managed by potentially factually the worst manager in Premier League history. Frank de Boer. Terrible manager at Crystal Palace. Didn't last at Inter Milan. Even bowls. Don't you get me started on bowls. Commonwealth Games, the bowls. I didn't mention the Commonwealth Games. The bowls at the Commonwealth Games. If you've ever watched curling at the Winter Olympics, curling is a fucking addictive sport to watch. Curling is just every time the Winter Olympics comes around. And the Winter Olympic Games, the Winter Paralympic Games. I just watch the curling. That's all I want to watch. I used to watch it for like the skiing, the snowboarding, the slalom events. And then it's like, no, curling. I want to watch a bunch of men and women with brushes that I normally use as cleaning apparatus, sweeping some ice. That's what I want to watch. And by the way, it's bloody addictive. I'm not even joking. Curling is addictive. Even the wheelchair curling at the Winter Paralympic Games is fantastic. Just curling is fantastic in general. Go watch it. It's not football related though. This is today at the Euros from the Football Fan Show. Hiya, I'm Danny Harrington. let's talk about this Dutch game. I think isn't that a dodgy comment to make now? Sean says, I just watched that thinking, curling, I just watched that thinking, they're good at cleaning, or they'll be good as cleaners. Maybe that's their part-time job, you never know, but I think that's the joke they always hear, but some of them are professional players. Like I believe there is a professional curling league, and it's a Scottish game as well. It's a Scottish game. Maybe the only sport the Scots are actually good at. We'll find out tomorrow. And don't say the game of drink, because that's offensive. And they're not good at the game of drink. The Irish are better. I should know, I am Irish. Denzel Dumfries. Sounds Scottish, doesn't it? But it's not. Headed a dramatic late winner to earn the Netherlands victory after Ukraine had come back from 2 goals down in a thriller at the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. Frank de Boer, the Orange boss, hoping to use Euro 2020 to prove... It's Euro 2021. Hoping to prove to fans that he is the right man to lead the team into a successful new era. After an unconvincing start to the role, Frank de Boer obviously has been Inter Milan manager, where he didn't last very long, and Crystal Palace manager, where he didn't win a game, and he didn't last very long. And he takes over from a very popular manager who is currently at Barcelona. Yes, Ronald Koeman. I am talking about Ronald Koeman, the guy at Everton, who was at Everton. It looked like it was going to plan for De Boer when Gigi Wijnaldum scored on the who scored 8 times in qualifying, pounced from the inside of the box before Wout Weghorst's incisive finish doubled the lead, but Ukraine pulled one back through Andrei Yarmolenko. That's actually easier for me to say than some of the other Eastern European names. Yarmolenko, who scored an outstanding 25-yard dipping finish, and 4 minutes later, Roman Yaremchuk, I'm going to stick with that one, header to equalise and silence the Dutch fans. Of course, there were no Ukrainian fans, as the Ukrainian public were told that they cannot travel to the Netherlands because of COVID-19 restrictions. However, the Dutch scored again on the 85th minute, and I think Andrei Shevchenko and the Ukrainian team can feel very hard. They can feel very hard done by that one. It's a 7-year absence for the Dutch team because, of course, we forget that the last tournament they qualified for was the 2014 World Cup. They did not qualify for the 2016. Did they qualify? The 2014 World Cup. Yeah, 7 years. This is their first tournament in 7 years because they weren't at the. They were at the 2014 World Cup. They didn't qualify for Russia in 2018. Were they at the Euros 2016? I would have thought they were. I thought they were. But I thought the Dutch were at Euro 2016, so it would be a 7-year absence for... I'm sure the Dutch were at Euro 2016. I'm sure that they were, but we'll see. I'm sure that they were, but no, they weren't. I didn't realise that. So yeah, it was 2014, their last major tournament. I thought it was 2016, but yeah, 2014, the World Cup. Obviously, they didn't qualify for Russia in 2018. Neither did Italy, by the way. So this is their first tournament in 2 years, 4 years? 4 years, sorry. Well, actually 5 years because it's 2021 now. So it's actually their first tournament in 5 years. And one more thing to add from this game is that Christian Eriksen obviously played for Ajax. And a lot of Dutch fans remember that and having flags that say, "Stay strong, Christian," or "Stay strong, Eriksen." Has Frank de Boer silenced his critics in the Netherlands? Maybe not. Let's bring you a quick update on Christian Eriksen then. So it's been reported today. This is from the BBC, by the way. Christian Eriksen suffered a cardiac arrest when he collapsed in the Denmark's Euro 2020 match against Finland, said the Danish team doctor, Morten Boesen. Earlier officials said the midfielder was stable in hospital and had sent his greetings to his national teammates. Eriksen collapsed shortly before half-time in Denmark's Euro 2020 game against Finland on Saturday. This is what Boesen, the A Danish team doctor said, and I quote this, he was gone. We did cardiac resuscitation. It was a cardiac arrest, said Bosun. How close were we to losing him? I don't know. But we got him back after one defibrillation. So that's quite fast. The examinations that have been done so far look fine. We don't have an explanation as to why it happened. So that's the Danish team doctor, Morten Bosen, who talked about the Christian Eriksen incident. The 29-year-old Inter Milan player had emergency medical treatment on the pitch before being taken to hospital. But apparently, as has been reported, it's not apparent. We know it's been reported that he is in a stable medical condition. He is in hospital still, but he's stable. He's fine apparently, and that's what has been reported. Right, tomorrow then. Let's quickly move on before we get you that poll result and talk about quickly Monday's games. And tomorrow we've got Scotland versus the Czech Republic. That's at 2 o'clock. That's in England's Group D. That's on the BBC. ITV for 5 o'clock. It's Poland versus Slovakia. And then 8 o'clock for BBC, Spain versus Sweden. Those are tomorrow's games. And of course we are tomorrow live from lunchtime to look ahead to those games, give you potential team news and things like that, and potential to see who's going to play in the Scotland, Poland, Spain, Czech Republic, Slovakia and Sweden squads. So we'll have a look at that tomorrow. Scotland are at home, by the way. They're playing at Hampden Park in Glasgow. The only game in the group that they're not playing at home is the one away at this place, Wembley, when they face the far superior old enemy of England. Let's head over to Twitter then, and the results are in, and it's gone down slightly, and that is our poll of the game of the day at the Euros. England finishing third in this in this three-game vote. England-Croatia finishing last with 3.1% of the vote. 3.1% of you thought that a 1-0 England win was the game of the day. I think you lot think it's coming home. Austria and North Macedonia, 9.4% of you have voted for that one to be the game of the day. But in reality, there was only one game of the day and there was only one winner for this. This was a stupid poll to do because there was only ever one winner. It was the game of the day. It was a fantastic game of the day. Netherlands 3, Ukraine 2. Just a fantastic game of football. Fabulous game. Just loved it. Loved watching it. Incredibly entertaining. Hopefully more tomorrow. And you know what? Right now, we're going to create another poll on our Twitter account. And it's for you, Scotland fans. Will Scotland get through the group? That's what I want to know. Will Scotland get through the group? Will they get into the last 16? Will Scotland get into the last 16 of the Euros? That's what I want to know. You've got until tomorrow to vote on this one. So go now. You've got less than 24 hours, I should say, because it's when's the kickoff? 2 o'clock. So it's coming up to 11. So that's midnight. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what, 14 hours? 14 hours. So you got 14 hours to vote for it. So have a. In fact, actually, no, it won't be will Scotland get through. It's going to be will they win. Who will win? That's who it will be. Who will win? Hashtag Scotland or hashtag Czech Republic. Hashtag Euro 2020. What is the country code for the Czech Republic? I've got no idea as we write this Twitter poll. Obviously, Scots is SC. Where is Scotland on this? There it is, SCO. Yeah, I thought it was. SCO for Scotland and Czech. There we go. Will it be a Scotland win? A Czech Republic win? A Czech win, if I can spell Czech right, because for some reason I put an R in there. Or will it be a draw? 14 hours to go. Let me tweet, and you can all vote now on this one. Thank you to all those who voted in our poll today. Game of the day then goes to the Netherlands and Ukraine. It was obvious, but has Frank de Boer silenced his critics? We'll find out. Tomorrow we're back from lunchtime, and of course we're back every night in the Euros from 10 o'clock. We would have started last night, but with everything that happened to Christian Eriksen, we wanted to get more facts and information about it before we went broadcasting so we could actually talk about it. And we've covered it very minimally, and more information that we get across the week, we will bring that to you as well. Congratulations to the Three Lions. Is it coming home? It's too early to say, isn't it? That's been today at the Euros. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow.